Well, greetings, everybody. This is Samuel C. at Graph1159 on X and Blue Sky. That's at GRAPH1159. I'm continuing my video series on the Apostle Paul's epistle of 2 Corinthians, and this video is on chapter 8. So for this chapter, I'm just going to read the entire chapter, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. Now we are making known to you, brethren, the grace of God which has been bestowed in the ecclesias of Macedonia. For in a test of much affliction, the superabundance of their joy and the corresponding depth of their poverty superabounds to the riches of their generosity. For according to their ability, I am testifying, and beyond their ability, of their own accord, with much entreaty, beseeching of us the grace and the fellowship of the service for the saints, and not according as we expect, but themselves they give first to the Lord, and to us through the will of God, so that we entreat Titus that, according as he undertakes before, thus also should he be completing in you this grace also. But even as you are superabounding in everything, in faith and word and knowledge, and all diligence, and the love that flows out of you into us, that you may be superabounding in this grace also. I am not saying this as an injunction, but through the diligence of others, testifying also the genuineness of this love of yours. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that being rich, because of you he became poor, that you by his poverty should be rich. And in this I am giving an opinion, for this is expedient for you, who for a year past undertake before, not only the doing, but the willing also, yet now complete the doing also, so that even as the eagerness to will, thus also may be the completion out of what you have. For if eagerness lies before, it is most acceptable according to whatever one may have, not according to what he has not. For it is not that to others ease, yet to you affliction, but by an equality in the current occasion, your superabundance is for their want, that their superabundance also may be coming to be for your want, so that there may be coming to be an equality, according as it is written, the one with much increases not, and the one with few lessens not. Now thanks be to God, who is imparting the same diligence for you to the heart of Titus, for he indeed receives the entreaty, yet being inherently more diligent, of his own accord he came out to you. Now we send together with him the brother, whose applause is in the evangel, is through all the ecclesias, yet not only so, but who was selected also by the ecclesias to be our fellow traveler, with this grace which is being dispensed by us to the glory of the Lord himself. Our eagerness also, putting this so that no one should find flaws in us in this exuberance which is being dispensed by us. For we are providing the ideal, not only in the sight of the Lord, but in the sight of men also. Now we send together with them our brother, whom we test in many things, often being diligent, yet now much more diligent, yet with much confidence in you, whether for the sake of Titus, my mate and fellow worker for you, or our brethren, the apostles of the ecclesias, the glory of Christ. Then the display of your love and our boasting over you to them is being displayed in the face of the ecclesias. So I think it's important to note the words that Paul uses to describe the generosity of believers. He uses the terms grace, joy, exuberance. And what he's portraying is that the generosity of believers is a result of the grace that God has shown to them and the joy that comes from knowing the evangel. And Paul also states that he is not saying this as an injunction, but through the diligence of others, testing also the genuineness of this love of yours. So he's not issuing rules to believers saying that you must donate or you must show generosity in such and such a way. But when one has experienced the grace of God and come into faith in the evangel, then it becomes natural. It stems from true faith that one carries out their life in a way that reflects this grace. And this in turn leads to service for other people. And Paul also speaks of an equality among believers. And he doesn't want believers to be jealous of each other um, and think that I'm having a hard time, I'm going through a lot of affliction, whereas the other believers are experiencing life with ease. But it's true that in a certain area, some believers may have more. You might have certain believers who have a lot of money, but in another area of life, they're having a very hard time. They have very little. Whereas there are other believers who might have a lot less money, but they can help in the areas where the rich believers are lacking. And Paul also speaks of diligence, and he wants for the believers to be focused. And as you know, if you have read the first epistle to the Corinthians, there didn't seem to be a lot of diligence among the believers at that time, but God has worked with them uh, after Paul wrote that epistle, and um, and Paul is pleased with the attitude that they have now. And then he's encouraging them. He's saying, that their will has changed. He speaks of uh, their will. Um, he says, verse 10, and in this I am giving an opinion, for this is expedient for you, who for a year past undertake before not only the doing, but the willing also, yet now complete the doing also, so that even as the eagerness to will, thus also may be the completion. And so the Corinthians' will has developed and matured and has been reoriented. So now he's encouraging them um, to step out in action uh, in generosity, and so it's he wants them to complete this maturity. And so that concludes my thoughts on chapter 8, and I look forward to seeing you next time to look at chapter 9.